Suspected gang members in Mexico have confessed to incinerating the bodies of 43 missing students. It's thought that police officers attacked the young people near the southern town of Iguala at the end of September and then handed them over to a gang. Well, joining me from Mexico City via Skype is journalist Duncan Tucker. Thanks very much for joining us here on Sky News. Now, this story has been a huge one in Mexico. Just explain the background to this. What happened in September to these missing students?
Hi Samantha, thanks for having me on. So this began 6 weeks ago when the students were organising a protest near the town of Iguala. And they came under attack by police officers and cartel gunmen. And 6 students were killed that evening, and one of them was even found the next day with his eyes gouged out and his skin stripped from his face. Now the last time the students were seen alive, they were being thrown into the back of police cars and driven away. And it's thought that the police then handed the students over to the local gang members, who had them killed, and then they even built a bonfire using tires, wood, and gasoline, set fire to the bodies, including some of the students who were still alive at the time, so they were burnt alive. And then they disposed of the charred remains and the ashes in plastic bags and threw some of them in a river. Now, some of these remains were discovered yesterday, the government announced. And, well, there's been a lot of speculation that the local government was actually responsible for the attacks. The mayor and his wife have been arrested. They went on the run after the students disappeared, and they were arrested this week. And it's thought that the mayor actually ordered the students to be abducted so as to stop them from interrupting a speech that his wife was giving. Now, the mayor's wife has actually got very close links to the local drug gang that was supposedly responsible for this attack. 2 of her brothers were leading members of the gang who were killed a few years ago. And it's thought that she was actually in charge of the drug gang's finances.
Now, it's led to huge demonstrations, this story, hasn't it, within the country about corruption within local government?
Absolutely. I think this has been something that's been a problem in Mexico for many years, but this has reached a kind of tipping point with this story. There's been huge demonstrations across all of Mexico and Mexico City, in Guerrero, where the attacks took place, and all over the country. People are fed up. They've been calling for the resignation of President Enrique Peña Nieto. And I think Mexico's seen a lot of problems with drug-related violence in recent years, but nothing quite as bad as this. I mean, in this case, the victims were all innocent students with no ties to crime. And I think people are just fed up and they're not going to take it anymore here.
How dangerous is Mexico? It's a very vast country, obviously, but are these kind of incidents, although the scale of this is unseen before, but are these kind of incidents rare?
Well, an incident quite this bad, you probably have to go back a long time to see an incident this bad. I mean, you probably have to go back until 1968 when the Mexican army massacred a crowd of student protesters in Mexico City to see a case that's been quite this bad. But there are common incidents across Mexico. It varies a lot from state to state in Mexico. The big cities like Mexico City or tourist resorts like Cancun are quite safe. But if you go to the more remote rural areas, like where this took place, that's where you see a complete breakdown of law and order, where the local governments or even the police have been completely infiltrated by organized crime.
OK, Duncan Tucker, good to talk to you. Thanks for your time this evening. Thank you.